Okay, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a resources section inside of your Circle community that you can leverage to store all of your replays, workshops, Q&As, honestly, any content that you want your members to be able to access inside of a single, beautiful, easy to use reference area. I call mine a resource library. It's super easy to set up in Circle, and let me show you how to do it. Here's my resource library inside of Convology Plus. You can see here on the left-hand side, I've got the resource library. I have Q&As, masterminds, tutorials, workshops, and various downloads available. And since my community has been around for 5 years now, members can come here and they can sort by Q&As, tutorials, etc. And if they wanted to just scroll through everything, there's a seemingly endless number of resources inside of the resource library. Now I'm utilizing a couple of different things inside of this space, and that's truly what this is. This is just a space inside of my Circle community. I've chosen to make it a discussion space that only I can post in, but people can respond and comment on existing posts if they want to. Now, under our customization section for this space, I've chosen it to be the card layout. You can kind of see the design differences between a feed, a list, and a card layout. The card layout gives us this image first gallery of resources, or whatever it is that you're building. And I really feel like this visual presentation matches what I'm trying to convey inside of my resource library. You could, of course, use a different layout, but I think it loses some of that, like, here's an individual workshop kind of feel. If you used a list view, I think it just looks like a normal discussion space, something similar to like what I have in my tech help community, which is just this like list of people asking questions. In the resource library, though, these look like they stand out much more. And if you try and make an effort to have your images be a little cohesive, I'm by no means am I a designer, but I've tried to like always use the same image for Q&As and masterminds. And then if I have things like this one, I did a little mini workshop on which one you should use, high level school or Circle. And this one, we did a recap of high levels 2025 event. So I'll throw in different thumbnails here and there, but for the most part, I try to keep some structure so that it just looks cohesive and on brand. So if you make any attempt to do that, you'll create a very cohesive resource library or gallery, whatever you're making. Okay, let's walk through the technical process of how we create this resource library. I have mine under what I call the member hub. That's the space group inside of Circle. And like I said, my resource library is just a space. So to add a new space, I'll click this plus button and click create space. Here's where I choose the type of space. Now remember, I said it's just a post space set to look like a gallery. None of these other options would work quite the same way. Now, before I actually jump into this, I do want to point out that for the most part, my resource library is replays of live events. And inside of my member events section, where I literally put all my weekly office hours or monthly masterminds and our workshops and events, etc., you can, inside of Circle, just post your replays. So for example, here's an upcoming office hours on Friday. There's 8 attendees RSVP'd. I could hold that event. I could come back in and just put my video, or because I'm using Circle's live room feature, which is kind of like a built-in Zoom, which is phenomenal. Because it's inside of Circle, Circle has an option to automatically post the video back into the event space itself, which is fantastic. But because I do so many events, I would very quickly run out of video storage and space in my community. So instead, what I do is I take the video recording from Circle, which is now in 1080p. It's beautiful. It's even higher quality than Zoom. I then take that video and I put it on Vimeo. You can put it in any number of video hosting options. Mine's in Vimeo. And then I take that video and I re-embed it back into my Circle community in the resource library. So with that clarification, let's go back to creating our space. Let's choose our post space. Let's hit next. Now let's start to craft our resource library. You can choose your icon just like you can for any space. I've uploaded custom icons that I've been using, but you can do shapes, which is pretty common, or like I said, upload a custom image. I'm just going to choose an emoji here, and I'll do like, let's do like files. Oop, there's one that looks good to me. I'll just choose this one right here, and I'll call it the demo library for our video. I'm going to choose to make my access secret just so that the members in my community don't see it. But for me, what I've chosen for my actual resource library, I've made it private. Now let's talk about the distinction there. Secret means invited members only. Non-members will not even see the space in the left sidebar. my resource library is private, so it's still invited members only, and I've protected that in an access group. I have a whole video on Circle access groups that I'll link down below in the description that you can watch. I'll put a playlist as well that I think would be helpful. But non-members will see a lock page. They'll see that they'll see it in the sidebar, but instead of seeing the icon, it'll be a little padlock. And when non-members click on it, they'll see whatever you've chosen to show them. In my case, I show everybody a screen. I'll show it to you in a second that just basically says you don't have access to this. If you want to access the resource library, click here to join. For post notifications, it's up to you on this one. I typically will leave all of these enabled. If you post here more than 1 or 2 times a week and you don't want to be an annoyance to your members, you can choose to disable these and everything just goes into the feed anyway. That's up to you. But I'm going to make mine secret because I don't want people seeing that I have a demo space right now. And then I'll click Create Space. Now, to get started with customizing this to make it look like my resource library, on the right-hand side under Space Settings, we're going to go into our Customize section. Here, we're going to change it to our card view, which is what I talked about earlier. And for the navigation, the topic navigation, let's very briefly talk about topics. Topics are essentially a way to organize posts within a space. And in a resource library, those are a great way to take 5 years of content and then narrow down the results so that if somebody's coming in saying, you know what, I missed a mastermind 2 months ago, but wow, there's 16 office hours before that one, they can just click masterminds at the top and all they're going to see are the posts that are tagged as the topic mastermind. So here we can click into our topic section and you can see all the topics that I have inside of my community. So I could add things like workshops, Q&As, downloads, etc. Now for the cover image and the mobile thumbnail, these are here. Let me just click Save Changes there in my community there. And let's go back to our current active resource library. Now you can see at the top of my resource library, I don't have a big image here. I do have one on like my tech help space. You can see I have an image here. If I hover over it, I can change it or remove it. And again, this is also a post space. So this is what it would look like if I add an image to my resource library. Now, the reason I didn't do that was because I felt like they're coming in, I want them to quickly see what's available and I wanted the filter to be at the top. So I would recommend, if you want yours to look like mine, you don't add an image at the top. But if you did, let me show you what that looks like here real quick. I'll go into a space that has one and I'll show you. So back here in the customization space for this particular one, you can see here, cover image. I've uploaded it. It tells you the image size it recommends, but I have not uploaded a mobile thumbnail. Now, as a result here, you are seeing I'm holding up my phone to the screen in the bottom right-hand corner. I don't know how visible that is to you, but you can see there is no image at the top of the tech help space on mobile. But if I did, let's see if I can get that focus again, but if I did upload one and put it there, it would appear on mobile devices up at the top. So just bear that in mind. So now let's go back into our demo library. Let's come back in here to customize. Now, inside of our customize section, we did choose to make this page secret, meaning that nobody will see it unless they have access. However, in most cases, I think most people will use private. And if I select private, notice here that it allows us to choose a lock screen page. And you'll notice that this lock screen page section down here just appeared. If I choose secret, notice how it disappears. So I'm going to re-choose private just for now and show you that you can select a page to appear. Notice that mine is called Access Restriction Paywall. That's what I, very creatively originally named my page. Now let me go show you that page. I'm going to make sure I move this back to secret. Let me go show you that page to give you an idea of what it looks like when somebody tries to join. Now coming into my content pages section in my Circle community, I'm going to find my access restriction paywall. I'm going to click on it. It's going to open it up in the editor. I'll give it a preview here so you can see a little bit more of what it looks like. And if somebody tries to access my resource library, or any page in my community for that matter, they're going to see that you can join Convology Plus to get access. Here's what's included, quarterly lifetime. You can customize this however you want. I chose to make mine very simple and made it basically a pricing table, but I think Circle does a really nice job of making those look clean. So we'll go ahead and click the X here. We'll go back and we'll return back to our resource library. So that's it for the technical setup of the space itself. Now let me walk you through creating a post inside that space to give you an idea for what's required. Now, actually, let's look really quickly at the actual library. Notice that there's the image at the top on the card itself. And when I click into the card, Notice, however, there is no image at the top. I found that to be a little bit redundant because I embed my Vimeo videos directly into my space. So returning back to our demo library, creating a new one, you can see I can give this a title. This title is what is going to be visibly shown on the card inside the resource library. Now, it's optional, as it says here, and I suppose it could be optional for you to use the title if you were to include the title very clearly in the thumbnail. Maybe that would save a little bit of vertical space. And again, if you want to see that again, let me just show you. The title is right here. Mine is called Q&A Replay 10/31/2025. I like that being there because that makes it searchable as well inside the community. People can use the search feature and they can search, Q&A replay is September 19, right? 9/19, and they can very quickly find something. So I personally like having that there. So if we come back in, create our post, I'm going to put this would be like demo resource. The content is what they're going to see when they click into it. You saw my example a second ago with the video and the description of what was talked about inside of that particular office hours. So I could put in my content goes in here. Now I can choose the topics that I chose to be available for this space. So I could say, you know what, this is going to be one of our Q&As or one of our office hours. And now I can embed videos here. It's very easy to do. In Circle, for example, like I said, I paste in my Vimeo videos. Watch how easy this is. I'm literally just going to paste in my Vimeo link and hit enter. It embeds it beautifully inside of my post, or in this case, my resource in my resource library. I can paste in an AI-generated transcript, whatever else I want to go next. I can include polls or any of this rich markup down here. I can include a voice message if I wanted to record a recording. Whatever I want to include, it can be included down below here inside of the post. Now we're not quite done just yet. There's one more setting I want to show you here. If you hover over these icons in the top right, you're going to see this one that says add cover. That's not the image. I think it's deceptively named. That's not the image that's on the cover of our resource, individual resources in our library. That's going to be the image that appears, if you have one, above your video. I never add those inside of my resources. Instead, I go to settings, and then right here, card view thumbnail. That's what we're looking for. We're looking to add a card view thumbnail, and they give you the dimensions right here, 600 pixels wide by 300 pixels tall, meaning it's wider than it is tall. What I've done is I've created a template inside of Canva and actually a template inside of Affinity Studio. And so I just edit those templates if I need to customize my thumbnails, or like I said before, I just use the same image for every office hour, the same image for every mastermind now. So I just have those on my computer and I just drag them over. I've optimized them so they're low file size. Just drag them over and then hit upload and it works. Now let me show you what happens if you don't upload a thumbnail. I'm going to go ahead and publish this quickly. And I'm going to go back to our demo library. Notice what you see here. It's like a placeholder striped looking thing. So you can see in this view, you are absolutely going to want to have a card view thumbnail. Now here's what this looks like on a mobile device. You can see that those thumbnails are beautiful. They render very nicely on the Circle mobile app, making it very easy to browse the different resources inside of the library. And of course, they can filter topics at the top as well. Now my resource library, like I said, I've had for many years, and it has a wealth of information. It's now a selling point of my community, and members have told me that the resource library is one of their favorite parts of being a member. If they can't make an event, the replay's there. If I have downloads, everything's there. It's like one place where I can curate my content for my members. So if you're looking to build a hybrid community, like I've talked about here on my channel, and if you're not sure what a hybrid community is, I'll include a link down below in the description to a video that I made talking all about it. But if you are building a hybrid community, or honestly any community at all, I do highly recommend creating a resource library. It's a great utilization of one of your Circle spaces, and I do know on some plans your spaces are limited, so you can condense a lot of spaces down into one by using a resource library. Like I've said a few times, there are additional videos that I recommend you watch. I'll include those down below, links in the description. I also highly recommend you check out my Circle playlist right here, and I recommend you check out my video all about hybrid communities that I've linked right here. And if you have any additional questions about Circle, feel free to leave a question down below.